Good day, my scholars. This is my school channel and my name is Abiola. In this channel, we are solving the JAMB CBT past question for the subject physics the year 2016. Remember, you have to stay with us because we'll be right back. Dear my scholars, welcome back to my school channel. We are solving questions 1 to 20 in this clip. So we have question 1. Myopic defects in the human eye can be corrected through the use of a what? Okay, so when you talk about myopic defects, we are talking about short-sightedness. Okay, long-sightedness is referred to as hypermetropia. Okay, so if we're going to make a short contrast between long-sightedness and short-sightedness, okay, the first one we have short-sightedness. That means the eyeball is too long. Okay, then for long-sightedness, the eyeball is short. Then for short-sightedness, again, the lens is too converging. And that is why you realize that the image is being formed before the retina. The opposite happens in the long-sightedness defects. Okay, so for long-sightedness, what we are going to have is that the eyeball is not converging enough. That is why these rays are formed behind the retina. Okay, so how do you correct short-sightedness? You can use a concave lens or a divergent lens for myopic or short-sightedness. Okay, for long-sightedness, what you have to use, you can use, like I said, for short-sightedness, to be very, very precise, you can use concave or divergent lens. So the correct option here is option B, concave lens. Myopic defects in the human eye can be corrected through the use of a concave lens. Convex lens is used for long-sightedness. So the correct option here is option B. Question 2. A charged particle is moving in a uniform magnetic field. If the direction of motion of the charged particle is parallel to the magnetic field, the path of the charge will surely follow the direction of that uniform magnetic field, that same direction, and that tells you it's going to be a straight line, option A. Number 3. What happens to a water pool on a day when the humidity of the air is very low? So once the humidity is low, that means the rate of evaporation should increase. Okay, so the correct option here is option D. There is rapid evaporation, because at this point the level of water moisture or water content in the air is low, so it allows for more evaporation to happen in a situation whereby the humidity is already high, so evaporation is going to be very slow. So the correct option here is option D. What happens to a water pool on a day when the humidity of the air is very low? There will be rapid evaporation. Option D, once again, is the correct option. Number 4. A satellite moves in a circular orbit of radius 4r around the Earth. The acceleration of the satellite in terms of g is what? This is a very simple formula. The acceleration in terms of g will just be g over r squared. We're given the value of the orbits of radius. The radius here is 4. Okay, that will be 4 raised to power 2. I remember I said g over r squared. So r is given as 4. 4 raised to power 2 is 4 times 4. That is 16. So your answer is g over 16. The correct option here is option A. A satellite moves in a circular orbit of radius 4r around the Earth. The acceleration of the satellite in terms of g is g over 16. Option A. Question 5. We have I as chemical, we have I as sound, I as electricity. All these are forms of energy. So we have been asked, which of the above forms of energy can directly, take note of that, can directly be converted to light energy? Okay, the two are chemical and electricity. Okay, so chemical energy, like for instance, your battery that you use in powering your flash, we have electricity, of course, we know that very well. So directly, okay, they are chemical energy and electricity. So we have I and I. So where do we have I and I? We have that in option D. Of course, we can still convert sound energy or sound wave, okay, to light energy, but it is not a direct process. Probably you have to use a microphone. It sends this wave to the diaphragm of the speaker, and it interacts with the coil and the magnet and all of that. It is then converted to electrical energy. It is stored in a kind of power bank, and you can see the whole process is quite entangled. This is not direct. So the direct ones are chemical and electricity. So the correct option here is option D. Please don't forget how important it is for you to practice, okay? And you can have a JAMB CBT simulated experience. All you just have to do, you click on the link in the description below. It will take you to the Myschool website where you can download the Myschool mobile app or the Myschool software for just a token of 1,000 naira. And the good thing about these tools is once you've registered with us and you log in your details and you've just paid that token, you will get your activation code and you can always practice as if you are writing the JAMB exam offline. You don't need data to access these thousands of questions made available. So all you just have to do, click on the link and you have the best experience ever concerning preparation. So we have question 6 to tackle. If the distance between the object and the pinhole of a pinhole camera is reduced by half, okay, you are reducing the object distance by half, the size of the image of the object will do what? It is going to be doubled. Okay, so for a pinhole camera, when you reduce the object distance, you are going to have larger image. Then also you should note this, that the magnification for a pinhole camera, okay, where magnification is equals to 1, that means image and objects, they have the same size. When magnification is greater than 1, that tells you that the image is larger. When it is less than 1, the image is smaller. The image formed is smaller. So if you want to have larger image, you reduce the object distance. So looking at the question, if the distance between the object and the pinhole of a pinhole camera is reduced, now that you have reduced the object distance, you are going to have a doubled image because it is being reduced by half, and that will be doubled. So the correct option is option D. We believe this content is very helpful. Please, you just have to hit the like button. Always click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get informed as soon as we upload the next video clips. Question 7. An object is placed 15 centimeters in front of a plane mirror. So the object distance for now is 15 centimeters. If the mirror is moved further 5 centimeters away from the object, so that means we have increased the object distance by 5 extra. So 5 plus 15, that tells you 20 centimeters. So right now we can confidently say that the object distance is 20 centimeters. Okay, so and the image distance from the object, okay, let's take it from here. An object is placed 15 centimeters in front of a plane mirror, okay. So now if the mirror is moved further 5 centimeters away from the object, what will be the image distance from that particular object? So you should remember, for a plane mirror, image distance equals to object distance. So the distance between the image and the object put together is what the question requires of us. So already we know that the object distance was once 15, extra 5 was imputed, that tells you 20. So object distance is 20, definitely image distance will be 20. So already we have 20, okay, for image distance, 20 for the object distance. So that means if you had been asked what is the total distance from the object to the image, that is 20 to the mirror, then 20 to the image, that gives you 40. So the correct option here is 40 centimeters, option B. Question 8. Which of the following statements is correct about a machine? One thing you should always remember, that the efficiency of a machine cannot be equal to 100. Why? Because of friction. So if you scan through all of the options, we have friction here. Okay, so and we are told that efficiency decreases with an increase in friction. So the correct option is option B. Question 9. The instrument used to view stars is the what? It is the telescope. Okay, telescope is actually used to form a magnified image of distant objects, just in like in astronomy. So the correct option here is option B. It is a telescope that is used to view stars. Option B. Question 10. What is the angular magnification of a telescope having objective and eyepiece lenses of a focal length 30 centimeter and 3 centimeter respectively? Now you just have to do that is y over x, that is 30 over 3, that is 10. So the angular magnification you're going to get is 10, option B. Number 11, a wire of length 10 meters is cooled from 50 degrees Celsius rather to 10 degrees Celsius. Calculate the decrease in the length of the wire. This is taken as our linear expansivity. So you will recall that linear expansivity equals the increase in length over original length times change in temperature. This is what I mean. Linear expansivity equals increase in length, all right, over original length times change in temperature. Okay, so we are asked to find what is the decrease in length. Okay, what is the change in length? Okay, that's actually dropped. So we are given the linear expansivity as 3 times 10 raised to power minus 5 equals, we don't know the final length, okay, minus the initial length, which is 10, all right, over 10 multiplies change in temperature. We are told that the temperature actually drops from its cools, okay, from 50 to 10. Okay, initial is 50, all right, and the final is 10. So 10 minus 50, we have minus 40. Okay, so when we cross multiply this, we have 3 times 10 raised to power minus 5 times 10 times this, that is minus 400, okay, equals L2 minus 10. Minus 400 times this, that should give you, normally you should know that this is 4 times 10 raised to power 2, okay, this is just minus sign affecting it here, okay, so that will be 3 times minus 4, don't forget the minus sign, all right, times this 10 raised to power minus 5 times, remember I said 400 is 4 times 10 raised to power 2. When I send this in, it's going to become plus 10 equals L2. So 3 times 4, that is times minus 4, that is minus 12 times 10 raised to power minus 5 times 10 raised to power 2, that is minus 5 plus 2, that is minus 3. So I have minus 12 times 10 raised to power minus 3, okay, plus 10 equals L2. So let's bring this down from standard form to decimal, okay. So minus 12 times 10 raised to power minus 3, it actually means 0.012. Remember the minus sign, then you are adding it to 10. Okay, so looking at this, that will be 10 minus this, or minus 0.012 plus 10. Okay, when you do this, that should give you 9.988 equals L2. So the second length is 9.988. So we are not asked to look for second length, we are asked to look for what was the decrease in the length of the wire. So remember that the final length of the wire is this, the initial length is 10. Remember from the question, initial length of the wire, final length is this, 9.988. Remember that the initial length of the wire, it is 10, okay? So when we minus 10 minus this, it's still going to give you what we had there, 0.012. So this is the decrease in the length of the wire. It actually decreased from this to this, and the difference between this is 0.012, okay, centimeter. So if you want to bring it to standard form, that will be 1.2 times 10 raised to power minus 2. If you move 1, 2, can you see it? 1.2 times 10 raised to power minus 2. So let's cancel our options together and look for 1.2 times 10 raised to the power minus 2. Join me. So we have our unit in meters rather, so we'll have 1.2 times 10 raised to the power minus 2 meters. So that is a decrease in length. Remember that the final length is 9.988. The initial length was 10. So when we take away 9.998 from 9.988 rather from 10 meters, the difference there is 0.012. Converting it to standard form, it is 1.2 times 10 raised to the power minus 2. Option C is very correct. Question 12. When an athlete perspires after running, he loses heat through what? This is actually what perspiration does to us. It helps us to cool off by losing heat through evaporation. That's the same kind of sensation you have when you have a spill of methylated spirit on your skin. So what actually happens is that it loses heat through evaporation, and that causes some kind of cooling effect on the skin. So the correct option is option A for evaporation. Number 13, the rate of cooling of a heated quantity of liquid in an enclosure depends on what? So, when you talk about temperature, the degree of hotness or coldness of the body and heat gain equals heat loss, all of those parameters put together. So it all depends on the temperature in that particular enclosure. That will give you a reminder of endothermic and exothermic reaction. Okay, so that can also give you a clue on how the cooling effect occurs inside a freezer or a refrigerator. So all of those put together, you just realize that it is all dependent on the temperature in the enclosure. So the correct option here is option B. Question 14. The heat required to raise a mass or a unit mass of a substance through 1 Kelvin is known as what? That is specific heat capacity. Why heat capacity is just that quantity of heat you need to raise the temperature of a body, not unit mass of that body, a body through 1 Kelvin. That is heat capacity. Specific latent heat of vaporization, okay, it is just that amount of heat you need to convert from liquid to vapor. Okay, unit mass, liquid to vapor, unit mass, take note of that, specific liquid to vapor without a change in temperature. Coming to specific latent heat of fusion, this is specific, okay, latent heat of fusion, you're talking about changing state from solid to liquid, okay, and at this point we are talking about the solid at its melting point, okay, changing to liquid without a change in temperature. And because we are talking about specific latent heat of fusion, you are referring to a unit mass of that solid. So the correct option here to the question given us is option A. Specific heat capacity is the quantity of heat required to raise a mass of a substance through 1 Kelvin. Option A is super correct. Number 15. A boy in a barber shop sits between two parallel mirrors, okay? The number of images observed by him, they will be infinite, okay? If these mirrors are positioned at right angles, you are going to get 3 images, but since they are parallel, what you are going to observe is number of images that will be infinite. So the correct option here is option A. Don't forget that you have to use the link in the description below. It will take you to the Myschool website where you can ask your questions right now. And remember, our solution providers are waiting for you to ask your question so you can get solutions within moments. So join me as we tackle question 16. Semiconductor is a class of solid whose conductivity increases with an increase in temperature, because increasing in temperature means there is more energy, okay, being pushed into the system, and that will liberate the electrons. For example, you notice this in thermistor, okay, the thermistor, THERMISTOR. I will spell again, THERMISTOR, the thermistor. So semiconductor is a class of solid whose conductivity increases with an increase in temperature. Option B. Going through our video segments, perhaps you see better steps or explanations you would like to offer. Please would like to know. All you just have to do, use the comment section below, indicate the question number and the explanation you would recommend. Number 17. Which of the following statements is not correct? Okay, so we have statement A, Brownian motion is an evidence of the particle nature of matter. That is very correct. Another thing about Brownian motion is that these tiny particles of matter, they are also referred to as molecules. Okay, so and the second importance of Brownian motion is that it shows us that these molecules, they are in constant random motion. So that validates option A, that Brownian motion tells us an evidence of the particle nature of matter, and also it tells us that matter is made up of molecules. Okay, and let's look at option B. We are talking about atoms combined to form molecules. Of course, there are some atoms that they can't exist alone, so they have to combine, and there are certain substances that they are actually formed from combination of two different atoms of different elements. For instance, when you talk about water, one molecule of water contains hydrogen and oxygen. So you can see, so atoms combine to form molecules. Statement A, statement B, statement D is correct. So let's see if statement C is incorrect. So we have the molecules of matter are not in constant motion. This is contradictory to Brownian motion, okay, which tells us that these molecules, which are tiny particles of matter, they are in constant random motion. So statement C is not correct. The molecules of matter, they are in constant motion. So this is an incorrect statement. Option C is the correct option. Question 18. A dynamo primarily converts what? Okay, an electric dynamo actually uses the rotating coil of a wire and that magnetic field that is present, okay, to convert the mechanical energy, okay, being produced in the system. It's converted to direct pulsing electric current, okay, through Faraday's law of induction. All of those things put together is just, it converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. So the correct option here is option A. Number 19. A saturated vapor pressure of a liquid increases when the what? Okay, so just know that vapor pressure increases when temperature increases. That is, we can say they are directly proportional. As one goes up, the other two does the same thing. So going back to the question, going by the question given us, a saturated vapor pressure of a liquid increases when the temperature of that liquid increases. So the correct option here is option A. Question 20. What force has to be exerted on a mass 60 kilograms to give it an acceleration of 10 meters per second square vertically upward? So we have acceleration due to gravity. G is given as 10 meters per second square. So all you just have to do is very simple. Just use the formula F for force equals ma plus mg, okay, where the mass is 60 times A, that is 10, that is 600, okay? Remember I said F equals ma plus mg. So already we have ma as 60 times 10, that is 600 already. You add it up plus mg. mg is still 60 times 10, that is 600. So 600 plus 600, that gives you 1,200. Remember the unit of force is Newton. So the correct option here is option C, 1,200 Newton, using the formula F equals ma times mg. We've come to the end of this segment, but there are more video clips to come. Please hit the like button. Always click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get alerts as soon as we upload the next video clip for the next set of questions.